I think I got it.
Hang on, just starting this. Just gonna press the go live button.
Okay.
Oh no, I was saying.
Yes, this is the. Okay. Yep, this is the person.
Oh, just a minute. I'll think I need to leave for a second, but it's just to switch on the telephone to the laptop.
Okay. We'll just basically start ready. We'll start the stream.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just. And welcome, my hunters! Welcome to another podcast that's been long overdue. And I think our guest has arrived. Hopefully, nothing bad will happen, but I've just jinxed it. Touched wood. I've been having a bit of internet connection problem, so. Can you guys hear me?
I can.
Okay, good. Anyway, I am the Old Hunter. Welcome again to another podcast.
Oh, hello. I'm the Knight of Green, Soulsborne martial arts expert and creator of Demon Slice, an animated series about martial arts and souls.
And I am the Darkest Soul VA, your friendly neighborhood comic dubber and voice actor for any Dark Souls related projects.
And welcome. Oh, Suki, just one before I continue. Your camera has a bit of an issue. But anyway, today we have a special guest. Today we have a cosplayer, if I may say, from Brazil. Oh, she will be back. She's just having technical issues. Nonetheless, I appreciate it. By the way, let me just check the audio quality for a second, because last time we did the stream, someone complained that the quality was bad.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay, quality is very good so far. There's a bonus.
Hi.
Hey, feel free to introduce yourself, Suki. Oh, welcome! We can see you perfectly. Welcome, Suki. Welcome to my podcast. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Can I introduce myself, right?
So, feel my guest. Oh, hang on, let me turn you up for a second. You're a little low.
Okay.
Oh. Feel free. Okay, now you can go.
Can I start?
Sure. Be my guest.
Okay. I'm Suki. You can call me Suki. I'm from Brazil. I'm 17. I'm about to turn 18. I'm a cosplayer, but I started cosplaying. Oh, wait, can I turn up for a second?
Sorry. It happens.
I'm sorry, but as I was saying, I'm going to turn 18. I'm a cosplayer for just about 2 years. I started in November from last year, and I'm pretty new actually. To just have a look, my first convention was in the beginning of this month. You know, it was super exciting. I wasn't Mitsuri cosplay, but it was I Hoshino. I think you should know the anime, but if you don't, please watch it. It's really good.
I will take that notice. I might even review it in the future after I finish doing the Vampire Dice again, which has radically taken me more time because it's been a bit tricky.
I understand.
Thank you. So I appreciate you coming on my cosplay, Suki. It's very much appreciative.
Thank you. Actually, I'm sorry because it's not on my best spot because
It looks fine. It
I
looks fantastic, actually. No worries.
thank you.
So, I believe that. So, sorry. It's been a while since I would done one of these, I'll be honest. I haven't had some join our podcast in how many months, guys?
Several.
Several months. Darc, you're muted if I can't hear you. Did I mute you by accident?
Oh, I know.
Okay, just making sure. So, yeah, I believe we have some questions and correct for you. Like,
Um,
so if feel free to ask us anything about any of the Souls communities, especially if since you're a big fan of Demon Slayer. Green right here is a weapons expert, and a while back we did do a review upon katanas versus longswords. And so if you want some information on weapons, feel free to ask our friend. He is our.
Actually, before I start talking anything else, I'm just making sure that people know that English is not my first language. I'm from Brazil. I'm not bilingual or anything. I'm not fluent. But if I misspell something, I'll be checking on my phone if I'm saying the phrases correctly.
It's fine. It's completely fine. Everybody makes mistakes, and we all learn from it. So you're perfectly fine.
Speaks obviously Portuguese.
Yes,
Yes,
português.
Brazilian Portuguese.
I won't speak Portuguese for this reason, so that everybody can understand me. But basically,
help with things back and forth. I mean, I feel like I was going to say you speak Portuguese too because you're from
Portugal. Correct.
From Portugal. So yeah.
Also, I was telling him that my part of my family that was from my father, actually is all from Portugal.
My Portuguese side is from my mother's side. From my father's side is Chinese.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
Mandarin, Cantonese, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, could you repeat that? You cut out for a second.
Oh, Mandarin, Cantonese, do you know?
I don't speak Mandarin or Cantonese. I'm trying to learn, but I don't speak it, sadly. Never go to rap with it, but yeah. So, sorry. So, Suki, I got some questions, as well as Darc and Green, hopefully. So, I gotta ask, what started you want to do cosplays, if I may ask? Let's start with the basic question.
Like my inspiration?
Yeah, basically that.
Like
yeah, basically what inspired you.
Actually, a lot of things, like in 2020, and the pandemic years, COVID and these things. Yeah. I started to see like these weird Danganronpa cosplays. Like, I didn't think it was weird, but at the time, people was calling cringe or something. And basically, I thought like cosplay was like, oh, pretend to be your character and dress as your favorite character or something like that. And for me, cosplay was that. But when I found about these Danganronpa cosplayers on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, the people talking about it in general, I started to look a little bit more, because this Danganronpa cosplays wasn't like, oh, you dress up like Junko Enoshima. No, you actually started like playing this things like I admit this fucking thing is a bit cringe, I admit. But the thing that caught me was like the personalized cosplay. It wasn't just like Junko Enoshima clothes. It was like it added a belt, a little bit of charms in the wig, and something like that. And I found this amazing. Actually, when I bought my first cosplay, it was Mitsuri cosplay. I didn't know shit about cosplay. So, like, this is my second Mitsuri wig, because the first one, I need to throw it out because it was like a mess. But anyways. Other thing that started.
No, sorry. Go on.
Other thing that I take an inspiration for is a influencer in particular. As a person that I really like, really admire, there is Magic Pira. Magic Pira is a Brazilian cosplayer also, and she's like a people of color, and she's really pretty. I love her work, and everything about it just fascinates me. And anyway, I just love her. It's just one of my biggest inspirations.
Fair enough. Oh, I want to bring a quick message up that there's going to be some internet trouble on my end. So if the stream's having class, wait, hold on a second, my hunters, and rejoin the next stream because I've had some problems with my internet lately. So I'm going to try to make this work as best. So I'm very much limiting on what my internet access is going to be. So just for the FYI.
That's fine.
Okay, just so please be very patient and let's hope for the best. Okay.
Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Just been so I'm a little bit holding my breath. So what I mean, honestly, when I see it, like, do you two know Darc and Green? Do you two know the series Danganronpa? Because I only know it tangentially, not like personally. So I've never like played any of the games or watched any of the TV shows. So do you guys know the series? No,
I actually know a little bit.
Darc?
Danganronpa?
Yeah, Danganronpa. I don't know much about the series.
Is it robot?
I'm not sure if I pretty much do. I think I'm not familiar with it.
I wouldn't say I won't say I'm a fan, but I really like the games, not the community. The community is really toxic.
Oh.
That's with most communities.
That's not with most communities, sadly. The problem is that basically that communities can always be toxic, and as the three of us are like big fans of the Soul communities, like me, Darc, and Green are like deep into the Souls communities, we can very much agree that it can be a very toxic. But you can always just try not to put everybody under that situation, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have any
Actually,
questions? Go on. No, go on. It's just delayed, so go on.
Okay. Sorry. Just about the thing. I didn't plan to do a Danganronpa cosplay, but I'm thinking about it very much right now. About Mikantsuki Kids, like the nurse. I think you all might notice her not by name but by image.
Well, I don't normally bring up images, but sorry, you were showing it. So could you repeat that up one more time? I didn't notice it. Sorry, it's just I'm not used to people just sending images on Discord, so feel free to share it again just to make sure. But I think I've seen her design somewhere here and there, but I'm not. Again, maybe I have seen it all over the place, but I'm not into the series, so it didn't register to me.
Oh, that's fine.
But anyway, do you have any questions, you two? It's just begun, but I've begun a lot of fun.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear.
What?
I didn't hear.
Oh, I said just with my two co-hosts. You got any questions? Because I want to make sure. Also, feel free to ask any questions about like Demon Slayer because we're also big fans of that series, right, guys?
I wouldn't say I was a big fan, but
if you like questions, but yes. Oh yeah. So, what would you say is the one cosplay that you think is going to be hard for the future for you? If I may ask.
what? Can you say it again, please?
What cosplay do you think is going to be hard for you in the future? Like you're going to find difficult.
Actually, I have one. I have my list right now. Actually, let me grab it. Just a minute.
Oh, excuse me. Either Darc. You guys okay?
Oh, it's right on the.
Yeah, I'm fine.
The notebook. Sorry, it's right here. Just a minute. I have actual big list, like 3-page list of future cosplays I want to make. Mage. I'm actually showing a little bit of those. You can read, but probably I think there's two categories of I think that cosplays would be hard for me, like male cosplays. I'm a very feminine person. Like you can see this, but like right now is is my collection of little bunnies, little fucking bunnies that I fucking love. These things, they're my biggest appreciation. But just I'm a very feminine person, and maybe male cosplays would be so difficult for me because I can't like act manly. Like the more manly thing I can do is like this because I'm a very feminine person. Like Like when I was in my 12s, I was like, oh my god, I hate pink. I was a very pick me girl, and so and I look back at these attitudes, and I think, oh my god, it was so stupid. But now I'm a very feminine person. I think I can do this type of character. But actually, there is a lot of male characters in my cosplay list.
No, that's kind of normal. What do you think, Darc? Your thoughts have been.
All right. On an unrelated note, who is your favorite character throughout Demon Slayer?
I think it's kind of obvious, but it's Mitsuri.
Mhm.
I think she's neat, she's cute, and pink characters, pink coded characters.
Mhm. That's fair, and like I said, if you got any questions about Souls, more communities like other Souls games, feel free to ask us. I like a back and forth.
Actually, I have one question. It's like, is it worth it? Because I really want to play some of the Dark Souls games because I really feel somehow attracted to the aesthetic, the world construction, and all, and the story seems really nice.
Well, this is where me and Darc go are experts on this one.
Yes.
Apparently, Green might be having some connection issues.
Yeah, I think he does have some issues right now.
So,
But what exactly are you looking into for the Dark Souls series and such? Is it like basically just the story, the world building, or is it just basically the gameplay itself?
Because we could basically
Actually,
come with three
world
different answers
building
for one.
gameplay. Actually, just world building gameplay and the aesthetic of the world building. Like, it's a very dark, a very heavy atmosphere, and I can feel it just watching some gameplays without playing the game.
Well, then it's doing a good job.
I'm not really such a fan of these, but it feels like something new. I want to try something new, actually. A bunch of times. I've been thinking to play it like a long time, but right now when I'm in contact with you guys that know much more than me, actually, I know what your opinions.
Well, that's a key one because me and Darc would agree that you should not play Dark Souls 2, correct? Darc? Oh shit! Hold on that second, hunters.
Usually it depends on what you're exactly looking for. For gameplay, what I would recommend you would start off is either with Eldenring or Dark Souls 3. However, if you want to go with a more lore-based, accurate aspect, I recommend Dark Souls 1. Now, if you're looking for a challenge, I recommend Sekiro and Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, the thing is that we don't recommend Dark Souls 2, really. I'm hesitant in always introducing Dark Souls 2 to anybody because I have a personal hatred for that series in the game. Well documented throughout my podcasts, right, Darc?
Yes, I'm aware of it. I am aware.
I think if I wanted to, I could write a whole essay on why Dark Souls 2 is a bad game, point by point.
Oh, you can do it. I'm over here.
Okay, so the reason why I don't like Dark Souls 2 for a million of reasons. One, it's basically, for the record, everybody's, I keep saying it for the record, I hate the fact I hate Dark Souls 2. It's a personal hatred that I hate the game, because it's part of a franchise I love. So getting out of the way, I say that because Dark Souls 2 is the problem that it has a silly system. The adaptive system, dumb. I'll explain. Because the adaptive system basically determines on how many frame rates you have when you dodge. So the more high adaptability you have, the more likely you dodge. I played through the whole game not knowing it because the game didn't tell me that adaptability is an important stat. I think most people who play Dark Souls 2 kind of didn't know what adaptability did. Right, Darc?
Well, I kind of had a little bit of knowledge on it, but I wasn't that informed on it. However, there are some good things about it and such. It's basically very captivating with, I would say, the graphics and such. And I do like the animations, but it's a very different departure from basically Dark Souls 1 and such. And it's a lot more difficult in terms of gameplay. However, if you want a more specific and better time, I recommend a different version of it, Dark Souls 2's Scholar of the First Sin. That is a way better version of it, than just Dark Souls 2 on its own.
Question?
I heard, I was talking about that 1 hour, almost 1 hour long essay review on Dark Souls series in general from that YouTuber.
Yeah, that one you said.
Yeah, he was talking about some things about Dark Souls 2 that are like not the quality of the enemies, but the quantity.
It goes for quality.
Too much enemy equals quality.
Yeah, Dark Souls 2 has a bad habit of doing quantity over quality. And the way the games level up society is completely different because in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3 to a lesser extent, you could tackle one area in multiple different directions. But the way the area is designed is to deal with how you enter. So most players in Dark Souls 1 first-time players would take the elevator, go through Quelac, would basically take the... Was it the sewers to get to Blighttown? It's been a hot second. But it was supposed to go...
Not well. That's one of the ways.
That's one of the main ways I'm talking about, like how first-time players play. Like they just follow the.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sewers. Yeah.
But there are other ways. So there's like a secret entrance in the Valley of Drakes that goes right into the area to Blighttown, which is another area. The way that Dark Souls 2 has that sort of thing, but the way the enemies are placed, it feels like that if you take the alternate route, the enemies aren't prepared for that because they're all facing forward to the main route.
I guess in a way that does make sense. But how would I look at it is, you know how basically with Dark Souls 1, it's all interconnected, and you can basically go from Blighttown and then go from one section, and then you can basically loop back all the way to Firelink Shrine.
Yep, that's why.
I feel like Dark Souls 2 takes the opposite approach and such. Basically, in one way of like making it a full circle, it starts to parallel out. You start from one place and then you go different paths and such, and you always have to teleport back to Majula.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that's a fair assumption of what I believe the whole getting from point A to point B and A to Z and that such.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, cute little bunny.
It's not a bunny, actually. It's a kangaroo.
Oh, sorry.
I have a collection of those. Actually,
everything okay, Darc?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Good. Oh, that's a very lovely figurine of Mitsuri, right, Darc?
Yes, it is.
I have some things like that because I'm not a figure addict, but I like to collect those.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Cute. So, yes, but you can see why I don't why one of the main issues I have with Dark Souls 2 is Dark Souls 2. And the other reason is basically, I know it's a joke in the Souls community, but this is the issue that there are too many humanoid enemies, per se, in the Souls in Dark Souls 2. The frame is too many dudes in armor, that the community loves saying.
Wow, dudes in armor in a medieval game? Wow, what's new?
I know. How controversial. How much controversial would I say? But compare that to Dark Souls 1, where there are plenty of armored enemies, but there are also plenty of grotesque monstrosities that basically... Come on, I think the Gaping Dragon was a kind of memorable for a lot of reasons. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
I have a comment on this because not only on Dark Souls, but I think in games in general, like, I don't know if it's so popular, but like in Brazil, like League of Legends is really, 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 really popular.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the thing that was searching around the community around the launch of Seraphine, that's such polemic character. It's oh my god. It's like the issue that League of Legends has so much human characters, like not even humanoid, human. And it's supposed to be like a word of magic, like Warcraft 2, basically. The story of League of Legends is basically World of Warcraft 2 because so many regions, magic, like steampunk, and such things like Oriental magic, Oriental folklore, and it's so good. The lore of League of Legends is really good. The game not such the shit.
I played the games for a little bit, so I can say that too.
Yeah,
but And when it comes and providing connecting them to what you said about the lore in Dark Souls 2 and the story is fine. It adds more to the world, but I feel like this has always been dividing the community. Is that Dark Souls 2 is too much of a rehash of Dark Souls 1, because the story of Dark Souls 2 is basically you are the bearer of the curse that's come to the land to basically cure yourself of the undead curse, and basically it leads to the path where basically you have a choice. You could either, can we just say it's like the fires and extend the age of light, or just let the world fall to darkness again, Dark, for Dark Souls 2?
In a way, yeah, but the DLC, if you were to basically play that, plays it a little bit differently. But in the original story without DLC, yeah, it's kind of like that.
So it's always a rehash of Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 3 actually was actually a lot better because it actually gave you multiple endings and your choices. I'll save that for, I don't want to spoil anything, but if you play, I know it. I know the painful memories, Dark. Trust me, I'm still painfuling after Dark Souls, after that ending.
That's not what I'm wincing over. Dark Souls 2 also does that. It's basically the missing link between Dark Souls 1 and 3. It's just the one that we don't like to talk about, because it has a lot of flaws.
I know, and I hate the fact I keep saying it, Dark. You know me. I hate it.
I know.
We bicker a lot about this. Too much.
Actually, I know more about Dark Souls 3 than the other games, the Souls-like games, because in that video I was showing you that Dark Souls 3 was like a reference for all the series. I don't think it's the fair one. I don't really know much about, but the guy told that it's like one of the best, if not the best, one of the series.
Might I interject?
What's your opinion about that? Actually,
Feel free to, Dark. This is not. Feel free to interject. It's not. It wouldn't be fun otherwise.
Well, I do hear what you're saying, and in fact, I do believe and I don't really know your opinion on this, but I think I came to a conclusion as to why people think it's I would say the best. It's probably due to two reasons. One, it was probably the most accessible one due to the fact that it already had a general audience after 1 and 2 and such, mostly 1, and it basically comes to the fact that for 3, it comes to playability, and it also expands upon the success of not only just Dark Souls 1, but also Bloodborne in a way, because basically it took some of the animations and basically improved upon it.
The joke in the Souls community is that From is very economical with its content. Very economical.
I know, like just a little bit of the Dark Souls 3, like word construction, enemies, a little bit. But one thing that amazed me in that video was like he was telling that Dark Souls has like such a good word construction that like when you're on the top of like one certain building, you can see some areas that you're gonna walk through.
Oh yes, that has always been the case for most Dark Souls games. Not most Dark Souls, but all Souls games, from Demon Souls, well, minus Demon Souls, but from Dark Souls to Elden Ring.
I was gonna say Demon Souls.
I know. Elden's Ring, Demon Souls has interconnecting worlds that are separate worlds that are independent from one another. But Dark Souls 1 to Elden Ring have a very interconnected world. So if I see a tower in the distance, I could possibly go there in the future and see what else is going to crush me to death. Instantly.
Yay!
Actually, I got a question for you, Suki, if that's okay. 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 So what was it? Oh yeah. What did you say besides Mitsuri? What do you say is your other favorite Demon Slayer character? Do you like Shinobu? Because she's another fan favorite in the community.
I actually my second favorite is Tokito.
Which
because he's like so. I'll resume to this. I wanna pinch his cheeks.
Yeah. Who's that one again?
Cyan hair at the ends. Cyan eyes. Let me take a picture as well.
Please take a picture because do you know who Tokito is, Dark? Because my brain is having a fart again.
Well,
you down too.
Jerry,
if I were to describe him, I think I'd be doing him a disservice. Yeah.
The
I want
new-
to cosplay him too.
It actually might be possible. So, no surprisingly, Tokito was a hit character in his introduction to Season 3.
Yeah.
Actually, I never got to ask you this. Who's your favorite Demon Slayer character?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
Probably... God, what was his name? The guy with the red hair. God, I keep forgetting his name.
Akasa?
Yeah, Akasa. Yes, Akasa.
Well, compared to the both of us, Suki actually has a chance of survival. Remember,
Yes.
Akasa doesn't eat women, so
Actually, this cosplay is from like the third season where he's like in a yukata in the spring. I have the original uniform from the Demon Corps. Can I show it?
sure, be my guest.
Feel free to do so.
Feel free to. This is the whole point. It's introducing yourself to the on my podcast.
Here.
Oh, that is actually a very, very good cosplay. Right?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Actually, just showcasing my cosplay today.
It still looks fantastic. Honestly, good choice in choosing the bathrobe one. Good
It's
choice.
because it's more like fresh for the weather.
Fair enough.
Oh, I also got another question. By any chance, do you make, like, to an extent, like, make everything when it comes to your own cosplays besides the makeup, like, basically the clothing and such, or do you buy that on, like, Amazon or anything? Because the only thing that I know revolved around cosplaying is that I did, like, cosplay myself as the Red Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I usually have to get all the stuff from, eBay and such.
Actually, I bought my cosplays. None of my cosplays was handmade, but I have a few cosplays to do that are like I want to buy. Firstly of all, I want to buy my own sewing machine. Right now, I'm like learning a little bit about sewing and such, and accessory making, prop making, wig styling, and such because I'm a newbie. Actually, I'm a newbie. Like I was saying, I started at the end of last year, and I'm very new to this all. And actually, I want to really like know how to do it myself. I don't want to depend on AliExpress or eBay or Amazon and such because it's really expensive, and the fabric is more like I can choose what is lighter for the weather and what is suits the character more. I want to learn about those things because I want to make this cosplay not just for me, but for other persons. I can get extra money. It's really good, and there's a lot of like people wanting to buy. And the cosplay community in the city I live is Fortaleza, and yeah, it's really big. There's like the one big event. There is the Sana. It's twice a year, and it's really big. There's like the big one of the north and northeast, and really big. So much people, not only from the city but other regions, and with this such big public, it's gonna be so much like people wanting to buy things and like all this kind of things, and I want to learn about it because not only for me but other persons I can gain extra money but also experience.
That's actually pretty cool.
All right.
I appreciate.
That's pretty interesting. Thank you.
It is, and I honestly can appreciate that people think I had to buy most of my clothes. For me, I had to buy most of the parts, like the trench coat, the waistcoat. I had to buy it separately. But I can appreciate someone who actually was willing to take the time and effort to learn the skills in order to sew, because it is a very, very complicated process.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but it's also very tiring and very time-consuming as well. Like, the only sewing thing part that I have done is basically some modifications to the Red Ranger suit, but the only DIY that I basically had to do every single little bit is basically this BioShock cosplay I used to do about Subject Delta, but I only had cardboard and a lot of adhesive material, so
You gotta do what you gotta do with the materials you got. Sadly, that's a fact of life.
yes.
I got a question. Do you have actually a replica of Mitsuri's sword? Not like the twirling one, but it's just like a katana.
No, but I'm actually working on it.
Oh,
It's like in my grandma's house. I'm using like a belt to make the flexible sword. I don't want to make it the straight one because everyone get a straight one, and Mitsuri is like unique because of her sword. And like I'm like using a belt, a lot of paint, and a lot of other things like fabric even to make the sword because I want it to look as cool as possible.
I take it you're going to make a special scabbard for the thing because it is going to be tricky to sheathe, to carry around in. I can't imagine carrying a sword like Mitsuri's around. And truth be told, I kind of like her weapon. It would be like a fun trick weapon if it was in something like Bloodborne or Dark Souls, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
The question. I think they're actually thinking about it. There is a weapon in Bloodborne called the Threaded Cane. I think that's the closest, like either the Threaded Cane or the Beast Cutter. Which one do you think is closer, Darc?
Threaded Cane, I believe.
Yeah, Threaded Cane.
The Beast Cannon seems a little bit too bulky, if you were to ask me.
Yeah, the Beast Cutter is a bit too good. I just can. Oh, the Threaded Cane is a special weapon in Bloodborne, where in a flick of a switch, you can turn from a cane that's like a blade to an actual whip-like weapon. It's actually pretty cool. It's a dex-focused weapon, so it's more for dexterous players. You get it. So it's that sort of thing.
Actually, like my boyfriend really likes such things like weaponry, and he likes I'm almost 18. I want to move out with him with a couple of years, and one of his biggest wishes is actually have a katana collection.
A katana collection?
Yeah, he's a big fan actually. And wakizashi too.
I wish Darc was here. He would have had a field day with this.
I'm right here. You mean green?
Oh, shut up. I have my brain farts. You know that. Stop laughing.
Sorry.
Oh, stop laughing. You know I have my brain farts sometimes.
I know.
He and I like to banter a little bit, but it's all in good fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yes. Actually, have you seen anything about Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, Suki, you. Yeah, do you know anything about Sekiro?
Sekiro. Oh, I heard about, but I didn't know much. Like, I don't know much more. Like, I just heard the name. I just like, Sekiro, it's a game.
Yeah, it's part of the same. It's part of Darc. Do you want to do this one? I've talked a lot, so I think you should take this one.
Yes. So, all right. So, if you like Demon Slayer, then to an extent, I think you would actually like Sekiro, because basically it takes some of the fun aspects of basically what feudal Japan is, with some a little bit of like the demon folklore and such. And not only that, is it like similar with Dark Souls and such, but you basically become a ninja in a way, and basically there's a lot of parkouring and such. It's fluent gameplay. It has a lot of, I would say, historical and actual facts about feudal Japan that it's actually tied in with the actual story and such. And I also think that it's a somewhat little bit of a gem, if you were to ask me, but that's a personal opinion on my take.
Indeed. It also sprinkles a lot of fictional in there. So it's set in the Sengoku period of the warring states in Japan. So this was after Europeans first met Japan. So it was that. The best. Okay, I know that I'm also the one who says this, and Darc would you agree that it's like the combat is almost like a rhythm game? Which is always it's the shorthand way of explaining the combat, because it's really unique, honestly. Too unique to my opinion, but that's why we love it.
Yeah,
So-
it's somewhat similar to how the other game, I believe, if you heard this before, it would be God, Ghost of Tsushima. Yes, it's similar to that in a way, but a little bit different.
Have you ever played Ghost of Tsushima?
No, but I've heard about it. The name is familiar, very familiar. I think I've seen the gameplay of such, but I don't remember correctly.
The Ghost of Tsushima is set 500 years before. Is in terms of where Tsushima is set in historical precedence to Sekiro, where Sekiro is set in the Sengoku period. Ghost of Tsushima is set during the invasion of the Mongol Empire, so it was like 500 years before Sekiro. Not connected in any way. It's just in time period wise. They're like kind of in time periods. So yeah. And the thing with Sekiro is that it takes a lot of mythology in Japanese mythology, and where there are no demons in like Demon Slayer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Like-
Dark?
I believe so, yes.
Yes, but there are plenty of things like things of monstrous behaviors. You do fight evil ghosts and spirits. Remember the headless monsters in Sekiro?
Oh, yes, and also don't forget the Japanese equivalent of a demon, Oni.
Yes, you fight a few Onis. One Oni. Two.
More like 5, but yeah.
I have a comment because it really interested me that game, but considering that is like very folklorical type of elements is really attractive to me because I really like Japanese folklore.
It doesn't take everything from Japanese folklore, but it takes a lot of interesting elements. So,
Historical elements too in general, right? Like I'm addicted to like just like my whole YouTube page is like the history of Harry VIII, like old England story, like old French story, how the Portuguese conquered the Brazil or something like that. Because I'm a really story addict.
I love good.
I was born in the wrong time. It's just because it interested me a lot.
I can agree. I'm also a big history fan, and I love history facts as well. Dark can attest to that very much.
Yeah, not to mention I love history as well, especially in more historical aspects of it, not just like mythology aspects. But I would say both of those terms of history are very interesting, to say the least.
And that's where Sekiro implements it very well. There was actually a clan that was in Japan, but I think that's as far as it goes from what I remember from being explained to me. So, the way, the combat, the story is actually compared to something like a Dark Souls. Sekiro's story is more character driven than previous Souls games. I mean, I'm not counting Eldenring because that came after Sekiro, but Sekiro is like more focused on the story and the development of the main character, Wolf, to some degree. So it does. It does have a lot of environmental storytelling and item descriptions, but that has never been the main focus in Sekiro. It's more character driven than it is. Okay, Dark Souls is more not character driven, but what would you say it is? I keep forgetting.
It's more gameplay driven, if anything.
Sekiro is also gameplay driven, but the emphasis is more on the story. It's a lot simpler to understand because I understood the story from the beginning to the end, which is kind of both really refreshing, but also really weird on our part, right?
Oh yes, definitely. But I would actually still recommend it because it's still a one-of-a-lifetime experience. Because if you basically like anime with basically feudal themes and such, especially with feudal Japan, this game should be right up your alley.
Perfectly right up your alley.
I'll try it.
You should.
Looks interesting.
I think me and Dark pre-ordered the game when it first was announced.
Oh yes, I definitely pre-ordered it.
Most definitely. When the game was announced, I pre-ordered the game because I wanted it.
I think we all wanted it because we all thought it would be Bloodborne 2, but no.
Yeah, we all thought that, but you see, me included, Darc and Green, we all want Bloodborne 2. Everybody's clamoring for Bloodborne 2.
It's like a dilemma.
I could go. I think I can gush about Bloodborne for hours, so I won't go on. But unless you want to know, understand it a bit more. But actually, one question again for me to you. What would you say is? We know your favorite character is your character, but who's your least favorite character in Demon Slayer? Like, if you could,
I'm shivering to say it.
just say it.
I'm trembling. Doma is a freak.
No surprises there.
Oh, I can basically hear the hounds howling in the distance right now.
I can say because I know Doma is somehow popular within the Demon Slayer community. Why? The guy's a creep. Ugh.
He's a creep, but like smash. Smash. But at the same time, he's a creep. Oh my god, yes, sir.
Doma's
Oh my god, also, yes, sir. Absorb me. Come on. I'm all my arms. Please take me.
He's a freak, but I'd smash 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Freaking
Freak, but I will smash him.
Yep. And I can never figure out why. But I gotta say this, you don't like. Oh, I wanted to bring this up really quickly, Darc. Castlevania Nocturne is coming this September 29th. It's coming out, and there is a trailer coming out soon.
Wait, Castlevania?
Sweet.
You don't know about the series, do you?
I know a little. Well, only about actually just a little bit, like the Lords of Shadows part and
that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the Netflix adaptation of the Castlevania games.
Oh, okay.
And
I know the Netflix adaptation.
Yeah, Netflix did Darc, and I love that series.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it was announced today, I saw it on my Twitter feed, that Castlevania Nocturno, which is going to be set quite after the events of the first Castlevania, follows Richter Belmont, the great-great-great-grandson of Trevor and Sypha Baldenis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically going to be set during...
I'm still waiting for Death to make another appearance. I loved him.
I love it. Honestly, the fact that they got the guy from Clockwork Orange to actually voice him is fantastic. If you're confused, I can understand if you're a little confused.
Besides Souls-like games, there are like any other games that you might like?
First-person shooters, I like them a lot. I also like action. I like games like that have the Arkham-style combat system. That's always a good games.
Oh yes, the Arkham series are very good. The Batman Arkham series.
Oh, I know just a little.
So basically, the way we like them is that basically we like the combat system a lot. It's basically like a tempo, like basically parry, attack, do combos. Basically, it's a really good tempo of a gameplay. It has a nice fluid animation to it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it, completely love it, and it's just also it's basically about the whole villain arcs, but it's like you got all the classic Batman villains, Joker, Croc.
And they got more obscure ones too, like Pig. We also got Firefly and a whole bunch of others.
And Copperhead.
Oh yes. Don't forget about the Mad Hatter.
Oh, that he's in every Arkham game, minus the first one. So yeah, it was a really good game series, and I enjoy playing him quite a lot. I actually bought the Arkham series on my again. I actually borrowed it from a friend a while back, but I bought the game just because I enjoyed it so much. Yeah, it's always a fun game.
I'm actually I'm very eclectic when it turns out to like type of games that I play, but I'm more of a casual player. Like I play some competitive games like Overwatch.
Oh, I play Overwatch.
Which?
I
Oh,
play
good.
Overwatch. Yes,
Really?
maybe we should have a few games then.
Oh, good. Oh my god. Okay.
Well, we can discuss this later after the podcast. But yes, I play Overwatch 2 on my free time as well. I like those Overwatch 2 is the only competitive game I've played. Actually, Dark, I never knew this, don't know this, but what competitive games do you play?
Ooh, well, I haven't played a competitive game ever since Warframe was released. Oh,
Ugh. Ooh. Interesting.
yeah. My competitive games are behind me. I used to be a good competitive player, but then I took an arrow to the knee.
Love the Skyrim reference. Always a classic. Oh, I also play a lot of fantasy RPGs like Skyrim. I've been thinking of trying Dragon's Dogma since everybody's going through it. FY, don't watch the Dragon Dogma anime that's on Netflix. It's dogma shit. It's bad. It's just plain old bad.
Careful, we may have 5 fans from that show watching the stream.
Oh, they can go. Oh, they can. Oh, I don't care. They crucify me. What are they going to do? Kill me?
Like, I'm
Officer,
really,
it's him!
like, I don't like to know a game, but its adaptation. Like, Danganronpa has a few adaptations that people say is really good. Bayonetta also, like, I know Bayonetta since, like, I was, like, 12. I am in love with the game. I'm in love with the series. And, like, the Bayonetta adaptation, really good. But I still prefer the games. I don't think any
Adaptation?
anime, series, live action adaptation of things are a good way to know a game, especially a game.
I know, I understand, but going back to the Castlevania for 2 seconds, the Castlevania series was actually, to be fair, the best adaptation of a video game I've seen in a long time. And the fact that it was actually from an NES game from all the way back in the 1980s was actually pretty good.
And we
Yeah,
all
it's
know
really
how
like-
the last Nintendo adaptation went before the Super Mario movie came out. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the old Super Mario movie.
Like, yeah, don't remind the younger. No, let's not burden the younger
Actually, go
fans.
and
with this.
watch it, please. Don't ruin the experience.
We're not talking about the Super Mario movie that came out recently. We're not talking about that one. A few decades ago, Nintendo tried their first attempt at a live action. It did so well.
The only thing I remember from that movie is just basically the poor adaptation of Bowser going, monkey! And that's it!
Oh, yes, and they turned Yoshi into an actual dinosaur.
Yeah, and do you see what they did to the Goombas?
What the fuck?
It's we're talking about the original Super Mario Brothers movies, and all the way in the in the 80s when the franchise was.
No, I know, but actual dinosaur.
Yes, Yoshi was an actual raptor.
Fuck.
They actually did that to Yoshi, and they turned Goombas into
Reptilian monsters.
that's the best way to describe it.
Lizard people, basically.
And oh yes, and they also gave Bowser. He wasn't a giant breathing turtle Koopa. He was just some guy in a trench suit that breathed fire with pointy
God.
hair. It was such
Oh
a
my
flop.
god.
Yes, it was a bad. I've never watched it. I know of its reputation. I've seen clips of it, but it's a bad movie. And I know, don't judge a book by its cover, but I think we can universally agree it's a bad adaptation. Actually, I want to bring up some interesting facts, Dark. And I gotta say this about Elden Ring. It's one of the best Souls games, period. It lifted. Well, okay, maybe I'm being a bit pedantic with that.
Yeah, it's basically, I would say it'd be the best well-received Dark Souls types of games ever.
Considering it won Game of the Year last year, outdoing God of War Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't know, Suki, last year when it was the 2022, it was a hot contender on who's going to be Game of the Year because Elden Ring was.
Oh, I know about it. I
Yeah.
know about it.
Yeah, Elden Ring was like going to be the biggest contender. Like it thought, this game is Game of the Year. It's blown out Horizon Forbidden West, which I forgot actually came out. I think I think everybody forgot it came out unless, and it was basically like, and when God of War came out, people were going to say this is going to be the Elden Ring killer. Hey, the game.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. This one game.
I know it. I know all about the Game of the Year because, like, I have a friend they're like her brother is like addicted to eldenring and such, and I just knew about it just because of her brother who was talking about it all the time.
I got actually a character that you might actually... Two characters. Look up Ronnie, the witch. Quickly, look her up on your phone.
Oh.
And I would say, regardless on what game won for the game of the year, I would have been, well, as I said before, A-okay with it, because I do love both games.
But they're both games. Different. They're both different. Now, and Ronnie the Witch, don't worry everybody,
Ronnie.
R-A-N-N-I, the Witch.
Oh! She looks gorgeous!
Obviously.
Oh my god! She looks pretty! Pretty!
Yes, she... Yeah, she is Ronnie the Witch. She is actually one of the main characters. Would you say main characters, Darc?
She's one of the main side characters that you basically have to help along the way. Not one of the main characters, because you're the main character.
Okay, fair enough. She is one of the main side characters, and she has a pretty popular ending, actually. It's actually, when it's from, actually did a poll on which ending a person got. Ronnie's, which was the first ending everybody got. It wasn't the main ending. It was Ronnie's ending. Do you want me to explain why? Because it could be a bit spoilerish, but do you want to know why?
No, because right now, seeing her, I want to play the game and make a cosplay of her because...
So okay. Now that I actually got someone here, what do you like about
so
Ronnie?
Pretty.
What do you like Ronnie's design? Go on, explain to us.
I like it.
Like, what do you like about it?
Like the big hat and this like bluish glow and so pretty. Oh my god, I want to sew it. Oh my god.
Well, it looks like we converted someone else. Darc.
That's good.
And the second
close. See you guys.
She also has 4 arms, by the way. She's like
oh my god, I wonder how I can do it.
Mannequin dolls. Just have like puppet mannequin dolls.
Good.
I actually know some cosplayers who've actually, not personally, but just like they put mannequin doll. She's got a pretty... It's hard to explain without spoiling much, but there's a second character called... Forgive me, I keep spelling her name wrong.
That's in the spoiler territory!
Not her. The maiden that we meet during the game. You know, the one that begins with the M.
Yes, her.
It's, give me a second, because I have a hard time remembering how you... Because her name is almost... it's M-E-L-I-N-A. Because I was about to switch to someone else who's in the stories that has a very annoyingly similar sounding name.
Oh, you mean the best boss in the game ever?
You mean yes, the best boss of the game. Anyway, put her in. Google her quickly. It's M-E-L-I-N-A. L-I-N-A. Hello?
L?
M-E-L-I-N-A.
Wait. Restart.
Okay. It's an M for mother,
M,
E for elephant, L for lion, I for incognito, N for nut, and A for apple. And just put eldenring in. Yeah, Melina.
Okay.
She's another fan favorite across the series.
Oh, she's pretty.
Mm-hmm. Her name is Melina.
Looks like your average adventurer, not gonna lie.
There's a lot more to her than that, trust me. Right, Darc? Her story is very interesting.
Yes.
What happened to her eye?
Oh, ignore that.
It's a design choice to make her stand out.
Yeah, so basically, is it left or right? Because the mirroring makes it hard sometimes. Is it the right eye or the left eye?
It's the left eye.
Left eye. So it's the left eye is basically closed with Raven's feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just surprised how cosplayers keep question, how would you keep her eye closed? Like with cosplay tape, or because you can't keep it closed forever?
Oh, I don't know such, but I saw something doing a guts cosplay from Berserk and such. He was not wearing a tape at all, and I saw another one. He was using a tape, like
Also,
a transparent tape.
I take it
to
you're a
keep
big fan
flow.
of Berserk as well. You like
Oh, I love Berserk. Like, it's one of my favorite manga series.
Dark?
Actually,
Should you tell her or should I?
Well, if I were, I would basically get the Baelite and then basically cause, destruction upon the world and cause sacrifice.
I
So
will-
I don't think that would be
actually,
necessary.
read the whole manga.
No, about which. I think he gets it. It's just that Dark Souls, the creator Hidetaka Miyazaki, is a big Berserk fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, if you look up a character named Artorias, the Abyss Walker, look him up quickly because you'll see what I mean. He is a one-for-one reference to our favorite one-eyed black swordsman, Guts. Quickly Google him up. Quickly Google Artorias. You'll love it.
My sword has gotten very dull. However, it is 3 times as thick, and it does 3 times the damage of a normal sword.
It's Artorias. Artorias the Abyss Walker. I think most fans in the Souls community will 110% agree that Artorias was basically based off Guts.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everybody would agree that.
Artorias.
Mm-hmm.
One of the 4 Knights of Wind.
Yeah, look up the image. Look up the bottom.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god, this literally looks like a pose that Guts does. Literally, it's like the same fucking pose, like...
Yeah, that's the one I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you that because Miyazaki has stated on record that Berserk was one of his biggest influence on the whole Dark Souls series.
It's very clear, actually. Like,
Very clear.
this whole heavy atmosphere through the manga is really, like,
Dark,
seen
depressing.
in the images of the game. Like, no comment. No comment.
Okay. So, now that we actually got this, so would you cosplay like Casca, or which character from Berserk
I
would you
want to
actually?
cosplay as her, actually. It's on my list. It's on my list.
Oh, she is actually. You have a lot of characters on your list.
Yeah, like, let me just count. 1 page, 2 page,
3
and
pages. 3 pages worth of character. 3 pages
pages
worth of
of
character.
cosplay plans. I would
Jesus.
love to say all of them, but I don't want to take so much time.
I know that would take so much time, but yes. Going back to so what is your expectations for Demon Slayer? I hate the fact that Demon Souls got in my head for 2 minutes. Demon Slayer's 4th season, because they're doing a movie.
Actually, I know a little about the manga, so basically, death and destruction, and Mitsuri die, Obana die, and such things. But I'm really excited because it is still made by them Football, so the animation something I really expect to be good. It really didn't turn out, literally didn't turn down for any season, but is really awesome. I really expect they keep doing the work, and actually, I'm expecting to see more works of Unfootable besides Demon Slayer because the studio it's so good.
They have actually done pretty well job with Demon Slayer, right, Dark?
Oh, yes, definitely.
I think that's actually one of the biggest points why it's so popular, because the animation carries a lot of the weight. Not saying it's
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Actually, sorry.
No, go on. I've spoken a lot.
Oh, so like there's the thing of the 7 Deadly Sins, Nanatsu no Taizai.
Oh, that series.
7 Deadly Sins, yes.
Yeah, like the story itself of the anime, the manga, really good, but not as good to consider because it looks just like your average isekai.
And I have my
And
own. Sorry, go on.
But like without the animation, it really disappeared. No one talks about it anymore.
I think I actually have a few reasons why personally I think that's the issue. Is that, like, for one, all the sins are ridiculously overpowered. Step one. So there's the issue that there's barely any stakes.
Escanor.
We'll get to him in a minute. But I feel like for the series is that there's very little. Like, if there was like a stake right in front of me, it would be very small. Like, maybe this big. I feel like that's how many stakes it is. It's not a very big stakes because the characters are ridiculously overpowered to a point of ridiculousness. Yeah. So that's for one.
Like, because this justification that is just overpowered, the 7 deadly sins, that's it. No character power development as such as, oh my god, demon, oh my god, immortal being, oh my god, king of fairies,
king of fairies.
Half god.
The giant enemy spider.
Like, if I feel like there was actually some little struggles with the characters, like, for example, like, maybe, like, I know that not every series has to have a training training session, but I feel like that, like, Meliodas is ridiculously overpowered at the beginning of the series. He could literally just hit and win. The case of the point is that, yeah, at the time, and that was his powers was, spoiler wordings, was sealed for most of the time. So when he got his full power back, was he ridiculously before? I feel like one of the biggest, and then later on, the animation just went downwards pretty quickly. I believe it was season 3 and 4 where it was just bad animation. And I feel like, okay, the 10 Commandments were a cool idea. Like, they're supposed, but the thing is, why not the 7 virtues? You know, if we have because the 10 Commandments feel kind of like a bit weird. I know that we have the 7 sins, so why not have the 7 virtues?
Mm-hmm. I just like the 10 Commandments, like just like an attempt, I think, to make just a rival group. Like, no essence to it. No essence at all.
They were just pulled out straight out because of the events of the season 1, where basically they fought the knight who was enhanced by gray demons. And I feel like they just forced it there because the characters were so ridiculously overpowered that they literally needed something to just counterbalance it. But they should have done that earlier in the series, not late in season 2.
Yeah.
Do my criticisms feel valid, Darc? Because my opinions are my own, but I like to understand from other people's perspective.
I would say basically watch a little bit more of the 7 Deadly Sins, but other than that, yeah, I would say they're pretty valid.
Thank you. You see, I always have valid points. People always say I don't, but I like to just say. Oh, it's already midnight. I think we've already gone for a long podcast on my end, but we could go another 30 minutes.
Oh, it's early here. It's actually like, how can I say it?
It's if you're 4 hours. You're 4 hours behind me, so you're 4 hours behind me, so you're going to be a little earlier than well. But yeah, see, I gotta ask, like, a little feedback. Have you been enjoying your time here on my podcast? Like, just your thoughts on this whole thing.
Me?
Yes, like you'll.
Oh, actually, yes. I like how I have a lot of fun because, like, especially when you're talking about Soul series, because it was something I never talked much, and to hear about someone talk about interesting that I am inside, because I really like it, because like I can know about so much more new things.
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
All the time.
I think
I don't. My vocabulary is not working right now. So.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm fine. I think that, like, a joke that Soulstuber did a while back. He was that guy that I can't remember him. It was like a long time ago. Actually, let me Google him a little bit. Sorry. A lot of Googling today, right, Darc? Something I normally
Yes, very much.
Not something we normally do on my podcast, right? If not,
Well, I mean, we do use Google for those posts and such that we read, so...
but yeah, Bloodborne review. My goodness, it feels forever since I watched one of these things.
Oh.
No, Bloodborne reviews. It feels like a decade. Ironically. Bloodborne review. It was Michael something. Michael. It's been. I'll look him up later. But basically, it was the case. The point that basically, if I was going to basically promote Bloodborne, I would basically wear a nice suit and say, "Would you like to listen to the wonders of the miracle of the Eating Church?" That's how I would do. Basically, try to.
That's the reference you're trying to pull.
That one, because it was a skit that a YouTuber did about how Bloodborne's basically a Bloodborne review, and he basically just did something like that. I can't remember it, to be honest. A while back when Resident Evil 8 came out, remember that one?
Yes.
Everybody was basically saying it was Bloodborne inspired, and I still hope I don't.
It was not Bloodborne inspired. It was Resident Evil 4 inspired.
No, I meant
Trust me.
I thought it meant like the character designs and all that.
No.
No?
I know because I'm a Resident Evil fan.
Fair enough, but I don't know. Whenever the whole thing, I don't know, that was a big thing when it came out. I just was into it for 2 minutes, but I just married on my way, not caring. But yes, I feel like, it's funny if you look at the history of this thing. Demon Souls was niche, so was Dark Souls 1, then Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, but then Elden Ring pushed it to the mainstream. Right?
Yeah.
So, and the way I always like to say it, Suki, is that Dark Souls, to respect Miyazaki's wishes, I don't say the games are difficult, they are challenging, because Miyazaki never wants difficulty, he wants a challenge. Now, some people will always misconstrue that's a silly comparison, a silly dichotomy, but I will hold to the fact that the games, while are hard, are challenging. And that with any
No, you can say.
No, continue. I've said enough.
No, I just was paying attention, the part of challenge, because, there's this joke about, oh my god, Dark Souls games are so difficult. No, because I got the chance to just play a tiny little bit of, Dark Souls 3, and, I didn't think, I don't know, because I was, in the beginning of the game or such, but I didn't think this as oh my god, so difficult. I'm gonna quit this game. No, I was oh, okay, I die. Let's try again and again and again until I win.
Yeah, I think
that's the magic of the thing.
I think the issue is that people come into the games thinking they're gonna breeze through it, right, Darc?
They're expecting a casual gameplay. Well, I hate to break it to you, but no.
The first thing that you should always do is humble yourself before you play a Dark Souls games. Even I and Darc, who are veterans of the entire Souls series, we went in Demons with Elden Ring very humbled, because we always knew from the beginning it's gonna kick our asses a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If there's one thing that the Souls games do well, is that they quickly teach you to not be arrogant and be quickly humble. Because that's the one thing many people, like I said, have. They go into the game thinking it's going to be the breeze of the century because, I play games like Oblivion or other games that are fantasy RPGs, and then realizing that I just sit there watching them die to a single enemy 10 times over, thinking, you're ready to be humbled, mate. It's almost funny. It's almost, for me, and I feel like every Souls member would say, the best moments of playing a Souls games is your first time.
Yes.
That is a fact. That is a fact across the community. Your first Souls game is always your best. Well, your first time playing it is your best. Yes, you want to say something, Suki?
Oh, I think that's one thing about like playing a game for the first time, just not like Souls-like games, but games in general, they're like big and heavy. How can I say it? Experience of gameplay, an atmosphere. Like those type of games, they're the games that you finished it, you end it, and you get like, oh my god, I want to raise my memory so just I can play it again without knowing what is going to happen.
Say I. Anybody who's played Dark Souls agrees with that statement. I.
Aye.
Yeah, that's basically the whole thing with the Souls community. We want to basically play Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Sekiro, whatever, without like it was the first time playing it all over again. Actually,
Oh, as soon as I met that Taurus demon Dark Souls 1, oh my god, I was sweating bullets.
I was sweating bullets too because that thing was like a big new challenge. I think shaking hands. Now, when I see the big bloke, I just know turn around, climb up the ladder, punch him a few times, run away, and basically you win. Or the case in point, bait him up there, and just fight him one-on-one.
It doesn't have the before.
It doesn't have the same sense before because, like, when you face a boss for the first time, there's always that dread that's right in front of you. Because you don't know how it fights, what its mechanics, how it's going to play, what its AoEs, whatever it is. You don't know a thing about it, and it's that dread. You die to it the first time, you just say, darn it. And then you keep remembering, oh, there's that attack, so there's that attack that one kills me, so I know to avoid it the most. And you also know to avoid the other attacks that come after you. All sorts of rhyme, rhythm, fun. It's a game that basically I feel like if it wasn't for the game of Bloodborne, I wouldn't have met Darc or Green. I think, and that's actually the intention of the Souls games, because in a story with Miyazaki, he was actually trapped in a snowstorm, and basically, correct me if I'm telling the story wrong, Darc, but basically someone behind him helped him push up the hill in order to get to the top, and drove off. He didn't know who helped him, but that was one of the inspirations he did for the multiplayer system, that you can summon someone you don't know and can give you a hand. And after that, they're on their way to do what they need to do. A sort of camaraderie, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Looks it.
It's a profile. I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm also on the autistic spectrum.
Yeah, so am I. I'm actually having to constantly re-engage myself with it because I'm zoning out so bad right now.
So am I. But I feel like my internet's starting to hate me now, so I want to wrap this up pretty quickly. So I want to appreciate everything that's joining. Thank you so much, Suki. Hang on, I'm checking it. Okay, it's still streaming. So, sorry guys, I just want to make sure. But yes, I want to appreciate everything. Thank you so much, Suki, for coming on and appreciating taking time and effort to be in a fantastic Mitsuri cosplay. Thank you so much for that time and effort. I hope you have had a fun experience as much as I and Darc have had.
Oh, sure.
Hmm?
Oh, actually, I just want to say just like thank you all because it's my first time like. Actually, I didn't have such a long conversation in English like this. Is like the first.
But your English is pretty good. I have to say, it's pretty good.
It is.
My vocabulary restricts me a little bit, but I think it's fine. I think you can understand.
It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Again, I appreciate you for joining me on my podcast. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you too.
So before I always send this off, thank you for joining my hunters. If you are watching this, even afterwards, if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe on below. My list of my Discord, my Twitter, and my Twitch are down below. So is Darc's social media as well as his YouTube channel. Also, I have linked down Suki's Instagram down below. So check her Instagram out. Follow it on her as well. And thank you so much. And may the good blood guide your way, my hunters.
And fear the old blood.
So, ta-da.
Oh, I hurt me.